flames, we rise again. From the past we find our strength.
Gunfight between JLA, state forces backed, and KNA in Rangamati, 4 JLA members killed. Welcome to Zalingam Media. Today's headline focuses on a significant development from the Chittagong Hill tracks in Bangladesh. A fierce gunfight erupted early this morning on March 20th, 2025, between the Kuki National Army, KNA, and the Joint Liberation Army, JLA, a group supported by the Bangladesh military. The clash took place at 5 a.m. in Mitingagatra, a remote area of Rangamati district. According to reports from the Intelligence and Investigation Branch, IIB, of Bangladesh, the JLA ambushed a KNA unit near Mitingasora, close to Burgiasora. However, the KNA's skilled headhunter team quickly countered the ambush, resulting in the death of 4 armed JLA members. Several others were reportedly injured. The KNA team, consisting of a smaller section of fighters, is renowned for its combat expertise, especially in ambush tactics. Despite being ambushed, they managed to repel the JLA forces, and no KNA members were injured in the incident. The IIB report commended the KNA's headhunter team for their tactical proficiency. This is not the first time that the KNA has been involved in such ambush confrontations, but it highlights the ongoing tension and military resistance in the region. The JLA, backed by the Bangladesh Army and intelligence agencies, has long been involved in suppressing various indigenous groups like the KNA, the Kuki people of Bangladesh, and their struggle for autonomy. The Kuki people, one of the indigenous groups of Bangladesh, have long faced a history of marginalization and conflict, particularly in the Chittagong Hill Tracts, CHT region. The CHT, consisting of the districts of Rangamati, Kagratari, and Bandarban, is home to various indigenous communities, including the Kuki, Chakma, Marma, and Tripura. These communities have distinct cultures, languages, and ways of life, often in contrast to the Bangladeshi state's priorities, which focus heavily on economic development and resource extraction. Historically, the Kuki people, like many indigenous groups in the region, have been subjected to displacement, cultural erasure, and militarization by the state. The government's policies, along with increasing military presence in the CHT, have exacerbated tensions between the state and indigenous populations. In response to this, groups like the KNA have emerged, advocating for the protection of Kuki lands, culture, and autonomy through both political and military means. The KNA, formed as a resistance movement, has been engaged in armed confrontations with state-backed forces for years. Their struggle revolves around securing political representation, protecting indigenous lands, and ensuring cultural preservation in the face of outside interference. These armed groups are often at odds with the Bangladesh government's military forces and paramilitary units like the JLA, which has been involved in suppressing such resistance movements in the CHT. The conflict in the region is complex, with various indigenous groups, including the Kuki, fighting for a degree of self-determination and autonomy. The presence of state-backed forces like the JLA has further complicated the situation, often leading to violent clashes and increasing tensions in the area. The role of the PCJSS and allegations of corruption. A key player in this conflict is the Parbatiya Chattagram Jana Samhati Samiti, PCJSS, a political party that represents the interests of the indigenous people in the CHT. Although the PCJSS has long advocated for the rights and autonomy of these communities, recent allegations have surfaced regarding the use of state funds to acquire weapons. The PCJSS, along with the Hill Regional Council, HRC, has allegedly purchased large amounts of weapons with money from the Bangladesh government. These weapons have been linked to illegal activities, such as disappearances and targeted killings within the indigenous population. The involvement of intelligence agencies such as the Directorate General of Forces Intelligence, DGFI, and the Bangladesh Army in these activities has raised serious concerns. There are claims that the government-backed forces are indirectly supporting groups like the JLA and PCJSS, further destabilizing the region and fueling violence. The KNA, although distinct from the PCJSS, shares some common goals of protecting indigenous rights and land, and it has accused groups like the PCJSS of engaging in illicit operations that harm the indigenous people. This overlap of political and military interests has made the region even more volatile. as Indigenous groups struggle against both state-backed forces and internal divisions. A history of conflict and struggle for the Kuki people. The Kuki people, like other Indigenous groups in the Chittagong Hill Tracts, have faced a long history of struggles for their survival and autonomy. The region's natural resources, such as timber, minerals, and land, have attracted significant interest from both the government and external corporations. Unfortunately, the Indigenous communities often find themselves caught in the middle, as their land and culture are threatened by outside forces. The KNA's armed resistance is a direct response to these pressures. While the KNA is seen by some as a symbol of Indigenous resistance and pride, its actions are also a reflection of the profound sense of injustice that many Kuki people feel. The ongoing violence between the KNA and government forces is a stark reminder of the deep divides that persist in the region, as well as the obstacles that stand in the way of peace. For the Kuki people, the path to a peaceful and just future remains uncertain. While groups like the KNA continue to fight for their rights, the involvement of various political, military, and intelligence factions makes finding a resolution challenging. The situation is compounded by the lack of a comprehensive peace process that addresses the root causes of the conflict, including land rights, political autonomy, and cultural preservation. Conclusion. The ongoing conflict in the Chittagong Hill Tracts is a complex and deeply entrenched struggle. Today's gunfight between the KNA and JLA serves as a reminder of the ongoing violence and instability that the Kuki people, along with other Indigenous groups, face on a daily basis. As the struggle for autonomy and cultural survival continues, it is crucial that the international community pays closer attention to the challenges faced by Indigenous peoples in Bangladesh. Thank you for tuning in to Zalingam Media. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates on the situation in the Chittagong Hill Tracts and other important global stories.